And it shall come to pass that if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
My people dying, it's a lot of crying. It's like all love is gone, everything going wrong. Brother against brother, no fathers in the home. Betrayed by so-called friends, and you feel so alone. Where do we go from here? It's like the same old thing. Traveled this road before, don't wanna see pain no more. It's a cold world, very few obey God's commands. For we know the earth is given into wicked hands. If my people called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and pray, it will be okay. Turn from all your wicked ways, obey the word and have faith. I will heal the land, uphold you with my right hand, yeah.
First off, all praises to my life source. I heard this beat, it made me wanna tell my life story. Cause we all under these curses, so you relate to it. But I decided to speak strictly about our current goings, because iniquity abounds, love wax cold. It used to be even in wickedness you had a goal, but love of money and love of self became the main goal. Behave ourselves as if we ain't sheep of the same fold. We need each other more than ever now, if you ain't know. It's about to get worse than it's ever been, this world cold. To enter the kingdom we gotta endure and go through much tribulation. But before we get to that point, we gotta master the basics. Keeping the laws ain't an option, and you can't pick the ones you wanna. It's sad that that's the top, but we folks who claim they Yasharala. We can't help the lost sheep while we got visible problems. Until you fully submit, you ain't giving glory and honor.
Father, give me strength to fight the battles that I have inside. In your secret place I cry, according to my flesh I die. Your Holy Spirit gives me life, I'll be your living sacrifice. Purify me with your fire, tired of going through generational curses. Teach me your commandments so that I can be perfect. Forgive me my transgressions and deliver me from evil. Abba, Yah, please take away the curses of your people. If my people called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and pray, it will be okay. Turn from all your wicked ways, obey the word and have faith. I will heal the land, uphold you with my right hand, yeah. For I wish that I myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the services of God and the promises. It's time to turn back to Yah so he can turn back to us and restore these curses back to blessings.
I don't care what the world think, don't do nothing they doing. Christ said they was gon' hate as soon as you became a new man. I just wanna keep his laws, I just wanna keep his laws, I just wanna keep his laws, I just wanna keep his laws. I don't care what the world think, don't do nothing they doing. Christ said said they was gon' hate as soon as you became a new man. I just wanna keep it low. 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 Obedience to love of God. First John 5:3. The scripture say it ain't hard. I renewed my mind and learned the lies I was taught. Yeah, my light gon' shine. No darkness, no doubt. Read Romans 12:2. Yeah, that's how King walk. I'm more than ready to die. I done took the sting out. My heart is so clean now. Yeah, I done got the beam out. I deliver the word of truth. I ain't serving bean pies on my own understanding. Yeah, you know I lean out. I'm friends up, I got tassels on when I hit the scene now. I remember getting high, faithfully twisting a line. Now it's no drugs, I fiend for spiritual things now. I don't care what the world thinks, don't do nothing they doing. Christ said they was gon' hate as soon as you became new man. I just wanna keep his laws. 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 I don't care what the world thinks, don't do nothing they doing. Christ said they was gon' hate as soon as you became a new man. I just wanna keep it loud. 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 I don't hang no more. I don't slay no more. I don't set claim no more. I ain't the same, oh no. I used to pull kick those. Give me my Debo. Don't cross the line, free throw. My tolerance was zero. But now I'm keeping these laws. I adhere to the Lord. Red skill with the sword. Chop false doctrine yet Lord. You wanna be victorious? Send your life round Torah. Take heed to the prophets. For judge and destroy you. Y'all really think it's sweet? I promise God ain't sleep. Read Sirach Chapter 5 in the GNT. Yeah, the Lord show mercy, but he tired of you playing. Instead of giving him your all, you just do what you can. I don't care what the world thinks, don't do nothing they doing. Christ said they was gon' hate as soon as you became new man. I just wanna keep his laws. 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 I don't care what the world thinks, don't do nothing they doing. Christ said they was gon' hate as soon as you became a new man. I just wanna keep it loud. I just wanna keep it loud. I just wanna keep it loud. I just wanna keep it loud.
Shalom, family. One of the most important things is for us to be holy. Now, what does that mean? That means we have to separate ourselves from the world and build unity and community. Grab yourself a shirt that expresses that message, and let's not just talk about it, let's live it.
Ain't no free will, it's all predestinated. From every death to every child brought forth through copulation. For the spouse that you choose to your current occupation, you either receive mercy or Yahweh's indignation. I can recollect on times that I could have been dead. Caught lacking, no strap, I had a knife instead. Played it cool, he wanted to kill me for how I used to move. Had to match his energy, portray that I was strapped too. But inside I'm praying to God, hoping he don't shoot. Then I'm whooping, telling him I know what he won't do.
It ain't for everybody. 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 Yeah, many you call, but few get chosen. Matthew 22:14. My righteousness gonna exceed that of the Pharisees. Do what they.
Shalom, 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 family, shalom, Mark.
Hey, shalom, Mark. Shalom, family.
So first we want to start off as we always do by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, whose name is Yahweh. And we do so by Shem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. I'm your brother Hurt. And tonight's lesson is Law and Order, the Balance of the People, Deuteronomy Chapter 3. And this series, we do these classes twice a month. And all praise to the Most High for the idea that he placed on our spirits to be able to do these lessons. And we thank you for everyone that has joined, who also helps us to grow the kingdom, like the pinned comment says, helping us grow the kingdom of the Most High by liking, commenting, and sharing the video. Please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on future lessons. We definitely appreciate everyone that does this faithfully. And those of you that are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. I don't know if everybody's experiencing this. I know Brother YP said that he's having issues with YouTube. I was also. When I first came to YouTube to open it up to share the stream, it's like I don't know if it's having issues on y'all. And put a one in the chat if you're having issues also, but it's like it's not loading properly. it's not even giving a home page. It's saying something went wrong, try again. And I had to close it out repeatedly to get it to work. So if you are having issues with the stream, like not being able to see it on YouTube or something's going on, like if it starts tripping in the middle of the stream, just go to the Facebook link, and you can place that link in the chat form also, just in case anyone's having issues. Place the link on YouTube. But or I'll just tell you, it's on Facebook. It's Hurtlet, HURT space LETT, just in case you're having issues with YouTube right now. But all praise, honor, glory to the Most High. Ak, you got anything?
Con, all praises. And how's my mic sounding?
You sound well. You sound good.
Con. Yeah, all praises to the Most High. Shout out to everyone that was able to join in. And yeah, I've been made aware of some people having some issues on YouTube as well. Like I had a hard time getting on here myself. I think I done refreshed and loaded like just the YouTube app period like 30 times, it felt like. So it definitely was giving me some trouble. So I could definitely attest to that. But nonetheless, all praises to the Most High anyhow for it. Thankful to be back at it with another Law and Order class. Today is Deuteronomy Chapter 3. And of course, just like always, if you haven't already, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. If it's working for you, make sure to hit the bell so that you can remain tapped in and notified for all of the drops or the live streams that come on the channel. And then also, if you're on the Facebook platform, make sure to like/heart the video, and also utilize the @highlight feature if you're able to, @followers, so on and so forth, and share the different platforms. We definitely appreciate all of the support. It's not something that we take lightly. We always say that, but every single time we say it, we mean it. So we want to make sure that we express to all of y'all that support that we appreciate it. And we want to bid y'all Godspeed upon you and your household. You got anything else before we jump into it?
I don't have anything, but all praise to the Most High for those of you that were able to get on YouTube without a problem, because it still shows that 8 people are watching on YouTube. So with 9 people watching on YouTube, all praise to the Most High. Even though we having issues, y'all still able to get on. But it's kind of weird because I had been on YouTube all day today and it wasn't having these issues. This just started, literally. But all praise to the Most High. But I don't have anything else. And I will be bringing the lesson tonight for Leviticus chapter 3.
God, all praise to the Most High. And yeah, as the brother mentioned, yeah, I'll be going into the lesson for tonight, which is Law and Order, Deuteronomy chapter 3. And as we're going into Deuteronomy, the 3rd chapter, basically what we're going to see is that Moses is continuing on with the historical rehearsal. But within this chapter, it focuses a little bit more on like the sanctioned battles and the victories that were east of the Jordan. And it details specifically the defeat of Og, the king of Bashan. And we touched on that in chapter 2. I don't know if y'all remember the last time, but we touched on Og, king of Bashan in chapter 2, where we took his territory. But we'll actually, in this particular chapter, we'll be able to see the initial division of the land to certain tribes. And so I want y'all to keep that in mind as we go through the book of Deuteronomy, because it's going to put together and illuminate a lot of nuances as we get to later parts of the book of Deuteronomy. So we're going to bring these points back later on as we get there, but I just want y'all to take note of some of these things. But before I get into it, you got any points, King?
We can go ahead and get into it.
So if you can for me, my good brother, let's start with Deuteronomy chapter 1, and you can read verses 1 through 3.
Deuteronomy. He said Deuteronomy chapter 1, Deuteronomy 3.
It's like in chapter 3, verses 1 through 3.
Then we turned and went up the way to Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out against us, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. But the Lord said to me, do not fear him, for I have given him and all his people and his land into your hand. And you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon. So Yahweh our God gave into our hand Og also, the king of Bashan, and all his people, and we smote him until no survivor was left to him.
So as we read in verses 1 on down, we see that Moses, he's recalling the defeating of Sihon. And it says Israel turned and went up the way to Bashan and Og, the king of Bashan. And it says that they came out against the Israelites and him and all his people to battle against us. And as you continue on, the Most High told Moses plainly, don't fear him because he's been or they've been delivered into our hand and also their land as well. So this is similar to Sihon, as you read in the previous chapter, another quote unquote sanctioned battle by the Most High, and he actually authorizes this before it ends up happening. And so basically the W is counted as ours before the battle began, basically. So it's you're continuing to see that theme, when the Most High has already given us victory, the W, the win. When he's on our side, basically, we shouldn't worry, we shouldn't have any fear, things of those sort. So like, just a side point, that should boost your faith anytime the Most High is giving you victory in anything or sanction something for you to get into. You shouldn't be hesitant in doing such. But as you continue on in verse 3, see that the Most High, he ends up delivering Og into our hand. We smote him and the rest of his people so that it was nobody left remaining, similar to what we see with Sihon. And we actually see these things detailed in the book of Numbers 21, because again, Moses, he's just recounting or rehearsing the things that were already mentioned. So just real quick, I'm gonna grab that precept. That would be a precept. Numbers chapter 21. You can read verses 33 through 35.
God. Then they turned and went up by the way to Bashan, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. But the Lord said to Moses, do not fear him, for I have given him into your hand, and all his people, and his land, and you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon. So they slew him and his sons and all his people until there was not one survivor left to him, and they possessed his land. And if I could, let me ask a question while you edify them on these three verses, so that by the time you finish the answer, hopefully be in the chat. But to everyone in the chat, what do you think would have happened if they actually did fear him? But go ahead, Ak.
Excellent question to ask. And hey, I'm glad you asked the question, because I want y'all to make sure that y'all are like in tune with this, because I'm gonna ask y'all a question, because I'm gonna keep saying these particular names, and then I'm gonna ask a question based on these particular names. So I'm glad you set that precedent. But as we see right there, this is just reiterate or not reiterating, but this is the actual account in which Moses is speaking about in the book of Deuteronomy 3, and it echoes literally what happened to Sihon, and it says it within that account that we would do to Og of Bashan as we did to Sihon of Heshbon and all of his people. So just you will find this particular account here in the book of Numbers 21. I would definitely suggest reading through the Torah and reading through these accounts, because you get to see all of these things happen firsthand, and not just a specific summarization of all of these things. But I mean, Moses, like how he summarizes it within these first few chapters, because of the length of the chapters and because of like how much he's covering, it's like dang near he's like, when you go back to read the account, I mean, it pretty much covers everything that's there. But if you want to get like really specific in certain details, it's always good to go back, to the initial account. But before I move on, you got any points, King?
I was hoping somebody was going to answer the question. But are you about to touch on it yet?
So I can with 100%. I could definitely touch on that. And I'm glad you highlighted it because I wasn't even though like I subconsciously spoke to that. Um, it wasn't like a huge thing in my mind just like moving forward. So I'm glad you touched on it. But what would have happened if they would have feared, Aga Bashan is that they wouldn't I would say that they wouldn't have been successful in taking over the land in which the Most High had promised to them. Because what one of the biggest issues that the Most High had with our people was faithlessness and the murmuring that came from it. And so that caused it, as we read in the first few chapters of Deuteronomy, that caused a good amount of our people to not even enter into the land because of faithlessness. So imagine you showing fear and again lacking trust in what the Most High God actually told you. First, He commands you not to fear, and then you don't even trust that He's said, "Hey, you're gonna win this." That's grave sin in the sight of the Most High. So they wouldn't have they wouldn't have been successful in their bout. That's what I would say to that.
Karnak, and that's the key thing. That was a commandment. He said, "Do not fear him." And
Mm-hmm.
if they would have just say, "Oh man, I'm scared. I don't know, man. They're powerful. That's a powerful army. How are we gonna win?" They would have went in with that mentality. You just think about it from that aspect of if you're scared walking into a situation, you're not confident. That's also no faith, just like Ox said, no faith in the Most High that He's going to do what He said He's going to do. So in that situation, the Most High can't work for you. All right, let's go to James 1.
Okay. I'm glad you touched on these points too, because we're gonna go into the size of these opponents that we had. So, yeah, I'm glad you touched on that. He said James chapter 2 and what verse?
James 1 and verse 6 and 7.
Okay. It's the book of James chapter 1, and this is verse 6. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, for he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord.
Right. So there's no way they could expect to receive victory over this king and his army if they walked into that situation with wavering faith. Wavering faith isn't even faith. It's just doubt. So there's no way that they would have been able to be successful. But yeah, that's all I have.
Excellent highlight. And I want y'all to keep that point in mind as we go through this chapter, because when y'all see the opponent that um we went up against, it'll give a little bit more credence to as to why the Most High would even say, "Don't fear these people." So I want y'all to keep that point that the brother Hurt made in the back of your minds, well, in the front of your minds for sure. So all praise to the Most High for it. Let's move back in Deuteronomy chapter 3. If you can, good brother, read for me verses 4 through 7.
Yes, sir. And we took all his cities at that time. There was not a city which we did not take from them. 60 cities, the whole region of Argob, the kingdom of Og and Bashan. All these were cities fortified with high walls, gates, and bars, besides very many unwalled villages. And we utterly destroyed them, as we did to Sihon, the king of Heshbon, destroying every city, men, women, and children. But all the cattle and the spoil of the cities we took as our booty.
Con. So as we read from 4 on down, we see that Moses, he notes that we took 60 cities, as it's written, took 60 cities, all the region of Argob, the kingdom of Og, in Bashan, and he ends up describing these particular cities as fortified with high walls, gates, and bars, and unwalled villages, showing that these particular cities were strong and established, and they weren't weak settlements. And so he goes on to say that we utterly destroyed these people. Like just as we did Sihon, king of Heshbon, as we read in Numbers 21, and then earlier on in the chapter, we took all of their cities over, and we took their cattle, their spoil, and they were looked at as a scripture. It says booty in there, but when you go into that word, it's going into like plunder or something that we would devour. So one particular takeaway that you can look at and grab from this pericope is that regardless of the protection or defense of our particular opponents, the Most High ordained that particular battle to be won on our end. And as you read throughout the Bible, it teaches this point in a plethora of places, right? That the Most High ordains victory for his people. Let's stay in the Tanakh, not specifically the Torah. Let's go to the book of Psalms, because this is something that's echoed, and I'm not going to go too far out because this is law and order. So we do have to, again, make the Torah first and foremost within these particular segments. So if you can for me, my good brother, just read Psalm chapter 44 and read verses 4 through 8.
Come. Thou art my king and my God, who ordainest victories for Jacob. Through thee we push down our foes. Through thy name we tread down our assailants. For not in my bow do I trust, nor can my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our foes, and hast put to confusion those who hate us. In God we have boasted continually, and we will give thanks to thy name forever. Selah.
Con. So every victory that we obtain is because of the Most High God. And you could also read this theme within the book of First Maccabees, the third chapter, where you see Judas Maccabeus and the rest of the Maccabees indulge in battle, and it's the Most High that's causing them to win their battles, and it's not themselves. I think like when he says it, he says that victory in battle comes from heaven and not the number of a multitude, roughly paraphrasing. So regardless of like who your opponent is, regardless of whatever whatever threat you're up against, quote unquote, the Most High is the one that ordains victories, and if he's ordained a victory, you will win. So again, that's even more reason for you not to lack, for you not to lack faith, but for you to be entrusting in the Most High and what he said. You got any points, King, before I move on? Con. So let's continue back in Deuteronomy, third chapter. Let's read verses 8 through 11.
So we took the land at that time out of the hand of the two kings of the Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan, from the valley of the Arnon to Mount Hermon. The Sidonians call Hermon Sirion, while the Amorites call it Sinir. All the cities of the tableland, and all Gilead, and all Bashan, as far as Salika and Idri, cities of the kingdom of Og and Bashan. For only Og, the king of Bashan, was left of the remnant of the Rephaim. Behold, his bedstead was a bedstead of iron. It is not in Rabbah of the Ammonites. 9 cubits was its length, and 4 cubits its breadth, according to the common cubit.
So, all right, I want to make sure like I draw this out, because this was some very important information that Moses actually placed within the summary. So when you look at verses 8 downwards, you see that Moses summarizes that Israel took the land of the 2 Amorite kings beyond Jordan, from the river Arnon to Mount Hermon. And as you look at verse 11, Moses, he gives a detail concerning Og, who was left of the remnant of the Rephaim. And it says they were giants, as it describes. And it goes into his bedstead. And it said that it was made of iron, and the size was 9 cubits in length and 4 cubits wide. And historically, when you look up what a cubit is, it's about the size of a man's forearm. So in total, it was about 18 inches and 13 and a half feet in length. So this gives us an idea about these particular giants that we read, of course, in this chapter, but also in chapter 2, where it spoke about the Anakim, the Emim, and the Zamzumim. We read about these particular peoples of giants in the book of Deuteronomy. And we went, if y'all look back at that chapter breakdown, we kind of go into it and we see a little bit about them specified. But before I move on, because I want to, we got some more stuff to jump into. Make sure y'all drop a 1 in the chat if y'all are following along, because I don't want to lose anybody. And if you're not following along, or if having any issues or anything is confusing, y'all can drop a 2 and y'all can state any questions. But I want to make sure that y'all are following along thus far. And Brother Hurt, if you got any points, you can jump in there, King.
I don't have any at this time out, but so far I'm following along myself. All praise to the Most High. It's been a beautiful lesson so far.
Con. All praise to the Most High. So real quick, I got a question. And I'm glad that the Brother Hurt asked the question earlier. Can anybody name the 2 kings? Because initially, as I spoke about verses 8 through 11, I said that it was 2 kings that we took the land over from. Can anybody name the 2 kings that Moses spoke of in this particular chapter? I just want to see.
We'll give them a second. I'll play something just to give it about 20 seconds.
Okay.
If y'all haven't subscribed to our channel, y'all do so. I'm gonna place it on the screen.
Ain't no free will, it's all predestinated. From every death to every child brought forth through copulation. From the spouse that you choose to your current occupation, you either receive mercy or Yahweh's indignation. I can recollect on times that I could have been dead. Caught lacking, no strap, I had a knife instead. Played it cool, he wanted to kill me for how I used to move. Had to match his energy, portray that I was strapped too. But inside I'm praying to God, hoping he don't shoot. Feel I'm whooping, telling him I know what he won't do.
Alright, nobody answered it out.
Con. So the 2 kings in reference.
Hold on. Got a comment. Sihon, king of Heshbon. Okay, that's one comment from DeAndre Goodwin.
Okay. Yeah, that's one.
Now that first one's easy. Y'all gotta look for that one for real. There you go. All praise to the Most High.
All praises. So those were the 2 Amorite kings that were in reference. Og of Bashan, Og king of Bashan, and Sihon king of Heshbon. So those are the peoples that are in scope and in reference. And as Moses is speaking about these people, we see the size. And as I mentioned, the bedstead is actually telling, because again, you got a 13-foot long bed, or a 13 and a half foot long bed that this person had to sleep in. So it gives you a bit of an idea that, okay, these people, they were a little bit taller than maybe the average Israelite that was fighting in the army. So it would have been needful for the Most High to tell them, look, y'all are gonna win this battle. Don't be afraid of these people. I've already given you the victory. Y'all are gonna take over these lands, so on and so forth. And so they would have had to have trusted the Most High and been like, you know what? Regardless of how tedious this battle is about to be, like I don't know what's about to happen. Like look at how big these people are. You have to trust the Most High even in a circumstance like that. So I'm glad that you brought that point up earlier as far as the faith point, because there are certain times in which, like, you can deal with things that may seem like just a dummy mission, so to speak. Like, yo, ain't no way I can do this. But again, like if the Most High, is on your side, and what you're doing is ordained of, His will and things of that sort, then you shouldn't be faithless, but you should trust in the Most High and let Him guide and lead you. You know. But you got any points before we move on?
Just the reference you made to the bed size,
Come,
and you said it was about 13 feet, right?
come.
So everybody, a California king is 7 feet. So these beds are double the size of a California king bed, which means these people would have been double the size of the average man today, and in that time also. So these were huge individuals. These are what you would call giants at that point in time. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I'm glad you highlighted that. That was a good juxtaposition to, the size of the men of Israel fighting and the people that we were going up against. But that helped put it in perfect perspective.
All right. That's why the
Con, but
Most High had to make sure they had faith. He tell them, "Hey, don't be
con,
scared. I understand it. I got you. You gonna win."
con. Yeah, excellent point, King. All praise to the Most High.
And it's
Um,
definitely a test of the faith too, y'all.
that's a fact.
It's like it's something you can look at as far as when something arises in your life and it looks like you ain't gonna win or you ain't gonna get past it. It's
Hmm.
symbolic of that. So all praise to the Most High.
That's a fact. All praises. Let's continue on. Let's go verses 12 through 13.
Khan. When we took possession of this land at that time, I gave to the Reubenites and the Gadites the territory beginning at Aurora, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and half the hill country of Gilead with its cities. The rest of Gilead and all Bashan, the kingdom of Og, that is, all the region of Argob, I gave to the half tribe of Manasseh. The whole of that Bashan is called the land of Rephaim.
Con. So as we see in verses 12 on down, we see that Moses explains that the land taken from Sihon and Og was given to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh. And as we look at in verse 13, the region of Bashan, which was given to Manasseh, is identified as the land of the Rephaim, which refers to the giants we read about in the prior chapter, which were men of stature. And we got to see like an idea of, again, what size these particular people were. But one important point to remember, just based upon these two verses, is that the land division, we start to see it begin before we even cross into Canaan. And so this shows, that inheritance began before the telling of Deuteronomy. And this again is going to be an important nuance to remember as we read later on within the book of Deuteronomy. I want y'all to, remember this point because Moses is retelling what happened um, within the book of Numbers and, what happened beforehand. And so he's just summarizing everything that's happened up until this point. So they've started to divide land and assign it to particular tribes before we even get to the point of Deuteronomy, the first chapter and onwards. Because again, if y'all remember from chapter 1, this is taking place in the 11th month in the 40th year. So this is, we're basically at the end of the road as far as our time in the wilderness is concerned. But you see land divvied out, months and months prior to the point that Deuteronomy is taking place at. So I want y'all to keep that in mind. And of course, I'm gonna bring it back up later, as we go later on. But I want y'all to just be like, yeah, we did read that. Yeah, that was an actual point. The Bible said that. But you got any points, King?
La.
Con. So let's continue on. You can read verses 14 on down to 17.
Jair, the Manassite, took all the region of Argob, that is Bashan, as far as the border of the Geshurites and the Maccathites, Salaki, and called the villages after his own name, Havoth Jair, as it is to this day. To Mashir I gave Gilead, and to the Reubenites and the Gadites I gave the territory from Gilead as far as the valley of the Arnon, with the middle of the valley as a boundary, as far over as the river Jabbok, the boundary of the Ammonites. The Arabah also, with the Jordan as the boundary, from Shinnereth as far as the sea of the Arabah, the salt sea, under the slopes of Pisgah on the east.
Con. So as you see in verse 14, it references Jair of the tribe of Manasseh, who took the region which encompassed Argob from Bashan to the borders of Geshur and Ma'akah. And he named these particular places after his own name, naming it based on the Hebrew, right? And I'm gonna go look at it real quick so I can read it out for y'all. But again, this is just harping on the point that we see some establishment of these particular cities, of these particular tribes and their towns before we even get into the thick of what we see in Deuteronomy. And let me just jump down to this particular word. Yeah, he named, and this is H23:34, which would be Chaoth Yair. When you look at it, it says a locative noun. And if you could, for me, good brother, just read the outline of biblical usage.
Havoth Jair, villages of Jair, certain villages on the east of Jordan in Gilead or Bashan, which were taken by Jair, the son of Manasseh, and called after his name, 60 or 23 or 30 cities in total.
See that? Hey, so again, it's showing you that what we're able to witness is that these things took place like before the complete or the full establishment of all of the tribes within the book of Deuteronomy. If you come from me, good brother, can you just read definition?
From the plural of H2:3:33 and the modification of H3:2:65, hamlets of Jair, a region of Palestine, Bashan, Havoth Jair.
So it's just harping on some of the etymology right there, but point is made. This land was taken over and assigned to Jair of Manasseh, and then as we seen in 15 and on, that Machir is given Gilead, and Machir, he actually comes from a particular family that was known within Israel, and you see him mentioned a plethora of times just within the book of Numbers. And as we see in verses 16 on down, the territory of Reuben and Gad was described to be from Gilead to the valley of Arnon, which bordered the Ammonites. And we also see Moab's territory is touched on as well, because it makes mention of Pigsah, which is the mountain region in Moab. And as we're going to read later on, and also later on within the book of Deuteronomy, this is about the area that Moses actually dies. And, I believe it says his body was actually buried somewhere within this area, but no man knows exactly where it is. That's literally in Deuteronomy 34, but we're going to get there. Right. But you got any points before we move on?
I mean, just I would draw attention to, just so everyone just pays attention to how the region is being split.
Mm-hmm.
And because the Most High, he believes, not he believes, but he's about order. He's about justice. And this was handed down to the leaders also of Israel. They knew that the Most High was a just God that had pure and righteous judgment. So they had to be the same way. So when they divvied this land up, it was done equally. It was done also strategically and tactically. But yeah, that's it.
Excellent point. Let's continue on. Let's read verses 18 through 20.
And I commanded you at that time, saying that Yahweh your power has given you this land to possess. All your men of valor shall pass over, armed before your brethren, the people of Israel. But your wives, your little ones, and your cattle, I know that you have many cattle, shall remain in the cities which I have given you, until Yahweh gives rest to your brethren as to you, and they also occupy the land which Yahweh your power gives them beyond the Jordan. Then you shall return, every man to his possession, which I have given you.
So in verse 18 on down, we see that Moses commands the tribes who received the land east of Jordan that their men of war must pass over armed before their brethren to help them possess the rest of the land and establish it to occupy the land. And this is an important point to keep in mind, because we see the Israelite men of valor. This is just one point, but we see the Israelite men of valor. They're distinguished from the rest of the Israelites, which would have included um, their wives, of course, the cattle, and then it says the little ones. And this would have also encompassed children as well as men who didn't fight or couldn't fight, and also elderly, widows, and those destitute of, or lacking necessities needed to survive. Hence them having to lean on the men or the heads that were quote unquote called the men of valor. And when you look at that phrase, these are speaking in reference to the men of war, or the people that fought. So before I move on, can y'all drop a one, just to make sure that y'all understand that point? Because I don't want to, be overly technical or be complicated or anything like that. But I did want to highlight that particular nuance, because again, as you look in the book of Deuteronomy and all throughout the Bible, or the biblical text in general, you're going to see points like this. And then also you're going to hear in conversations, people are going to make doctrines based out of these points, and not realizing these particular nuances, and looking at these things intently. They could cause you to actually stumble, perhaps cause you to stumble within understanding particular points within the text. So just want to make sure y'all are able to understand that point, and just not be confused by anything I said. But I see some ones in the chat. All praise. And anybody that has any questions at any time, y'all could always put a 2 in the chat, or just put the question. I'll stop and address it. It's no big deal at all. But you got any points, King?
Beautiful lesson so far. Definitely a lot of edification. And it's always a pleasure to take a look at our history and how we behaved ourselves when we were in order with the Most High order. So I'll praise to the Most High.
That's a fact. So, pretty much to cap off this particular point, we see that those tribes that received their land, they can settle their families and livestock. But as you see within the text, and as you'll read later, they were still obligated to assist the rest of Israel in taking over the other territories. So you see that within the text, especially at within the latter clause, when it says, "Then you shall return every man to his possession, which I have given you." So right there, that would be the caveat. Like, okay, you can get yourself up in there, but also you're going to help the rest of your brethren occupy as well, and then you'll be able to return to your possession. So we also see that particular motif of us having to look out for our very own, just early on. So just want to make that point. You can read for me, my good brother, verses 21 on down to 22.
And I commanded Joshua at that time, your eyes have seen all that Yahweh your power has done to these two kings. So will Yahweh do to all the kingdoms into which you are going over. You shall not fear them, for it is Yahweh your power who fights for you.
So next we see in verse 21 on down that Moses commanded Joshua and reminded him of what the Most High did to the two kings that were mentioned earlier on in the chapter. And those two kings are in reference to Sihon of Heshbon and Og of Bashan. And he said that the Most High would do the same to all the kingdoms that Israel was about to face. Then when you jump down to verse 21, excuse me, verse 22, you see that Moses says plainly, you shall not fear them, for it is the Most High, your God, who fights for you. So this is the command that Moses gave to Joshua. So Joshua was also going to be, going to be held to the standard of not fearing their up and coming conquest that they were going to have to indulge in, so to speak. You got any points, King?
I don't think so.
All praise to the Most High, man. We about to we get into the latter points soon, but this is a really important point to keep in mind, because matter of fact, I ain't even going to preface it. Let's just go into the text. You can read verses 23 through 26.
And I besought Yahweh at that time, saying, "Oh, my power, thou hast only begun to show thy servant thy greatness and thy mighty hand. For what God is there in heaven or on earth who can do such works and mighty acts as thine? Let me go over, I pray, and see the good land beyond the Jordan, that goodly hill country and Lebanon." But Yahweh was angry with me on your account and would not hearken to me. And Yahweh said to me, "Let it suffice you. Speak no more to me of this matter."
God. So matter of fact, let me ask y'all a question. Because we see in 23 downward that Moses, he's recounting how he pleaded to let the Most High let him cross over and see the good land beyond the Jordan. But why? I want to ask y'all a question. Why does Moses have to beg the Most High to let him do such a thing? Like why is Moses not being allowed to enter into the land? If anybody can tell, I just want to see if anybody in the chat would know. Because have we gone in? I don't think we've covered any part of the law that's touched on this, right?
I don't believe so.
But I think we have done. We have went into lessons on it though.
Plenty lessons.
And it's no pressure. Nobody knows. But I just want to see if anybody can give an answer on that. Because this is a pretty significant point, because again, you look at that language in verse 23, Moses, he said, "I besought the Lord." And when you go into that word for besought, it literally means to beg. It means to beg or to plead. So Moses has to beg the Most High to just let him go over there and see the good land.
Good answer.
God, see, this is a Shaq. She said he was being punished for disobeying Yah.
Got an answer before that too.
Oh, let me see. So we see. Let me pull that up on the screen.
Can't see it. I'll place it on the screen.
Khan disobeyed the Most High by striking the rock at Moreh.
Well, I think he was saying disobey the Most High by striking the rock. He probably meant something else to add something to that, but striking the rock.
Hello, like Moreh, okay, like all right. God. Now these are some good answers though. It says Israel's sin, and in a roundabout way, it would be Israel's sin because Moses was at Horeb.
I knew it was something.
I was like more like okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying, but now these are good answers. Israel's sin is a good answer as well because Moses was, you see some frustration from Moses, so he reacts, but that doesn't justify him obviously with within the act that he partook in, because he still disobeyed the Most High God, which is sin. And as we'll read in the book of Deuteronomy later on, it clearly outlines that Moses transgressed. We're going to read that cleanly in the biblical text. But yeah, excellent answers. And that was why Moses was unable to actually enter into the land himself. And we see within this text that the Most High, Moses is pleading, or he's recounting the time that he pleaded to the Most High to let him go beyond the Jordan and see the good land. But in verse 26, the Most High, because of his anger concerning Moses in that particular account and his lack of obedience, he tells him, "Don't speak on this matter to me anymore." So again, it shows you, like, even with
Frustrated.
yeah.
Hey, don't come ask me that no more now.
God. Hey, why I think about how your parent be, you keep you did something wrong, and you're like, man, I don't want to hear no more about it.
Right.
I want to hear no, like, you know what I'm saying, like
Get out my
it kind of get out my face, like it, but it kind of shows you like the severity of obedience to the Most High. Like
Right.
it shows you the severity, even a brother like Moses, in whom, as you see, like Numbers 11, I think the brother Hurdy went into it like just a few weeks ago. With matter of fact, I think last week in the gossip lesson, how in Numbers 11, the Most High, he thinks highly of Moses. He speaks to him face to face as he would a friend,
Right.
and so he gets up with Aaron and Miriam about their speaking, about Moses and his wife and their conduct in that situation. And we see how highly the Most High thought of him. And even in Deuteronomy, as we're going to get to Deuteronomy 18, you like the next prophets and the next leaders, they're going to be fashioned as the manner of Moses. So like it's almost like he's the archetype for the leader of Israel. But even he himself, if he didn't stay in line, we see the Most High deals with them. So like, how much more, you know, the like all of us who don't come nowhere near Moses. You know what I'm saying? Like that should really put it in the perspective, like how important obedience to the Most High is. Like if the Most High says up, you don't for any reason, like you shouldn't for any reason say, well, you know what? I know he said up, but I'm just like I'm feeling away, or like whatever justification you may have, you shouldn't be like, I'm gonna say down, because the Most High, he's not gonna take your disobedience lightly, and you shouldn't gamble and think, well, you know what, the Most High is gracious, X, Y, Z, he'll understand. He's a merciful God. A lot of people, they like to gamble with the Most High's grace and mercy, but it's not a thing to be played with and to take lightly. But you got any points, King, before I move on?
Just him. I mean, when you think about Moses, all the things that the Most High used him to do, he did great things for the Most High. And all it took was for him to be disobedient. And I think that's something we should look to as an example of it. It don't matter what you think you're doing for the Most High. It only take a second for the Most High to blot your name out. Even though he didn't blot Moses' name out, but he kept him from seeing the promised land. That promised land is a similitude for us being able to inherit the kingdom. That's not to say Moses ain't gonna get in the kingdom, because we know he's gonna be in the kingdom. He's gonna be great in the kingdom of heaven. But we don't want to be like Moses in this situation where you prophesying on the street corners or to your family members or however on the internet or whatever the Most High using. You feeding the homeless. You doing all these great works, and then it comes down to being obedient, and you choose to be disobedient, and then you die without repenting from that disobedience, and then you don't get eternal life, regardless of the things you did. We just filthy rags. But yeah, all praise to the Most High. It's been a beautiful lesson so far.
All praise to the Most High. Great points, King. Let's continue on to Deuteronomy 3. You can read 27 all the way down to 29.
Go up to the top of Pisgah and lift up your eyes westward and northward and southward and eastward, and behold it with your eyes, for you shall not go over this Jordan. But charge Joshua and encourage and strengthen him, for he shall go over at the head of this people, and he shall put them in possession of the land which you shall see. So we remained in the valley opposite Beth Peor.
Con. So as we see in verses 27 on down, the Most High commands Moses to go up to Pisgah, which is within the region of Moab, and take a look at the land, but he wasn't allowed to go in. So we see that's basically reiterating that interaction that Moses summarizes as far as, him pleading with the Most High. He was able to go look at it, but he wasn't able to enter in himself. But we also see afterwards that he was told to charge Joshua and strengthen him and encourage him, because Joshua was going to be the one to actually go into the land and lead Israel into what the scriptures call as their rest. So we see the chapter ends by noting that Israel remained in the valley against or opposite of Beth Peor, which is still east of Jordan. So this is where the recounting in Deuteronomy chapter 3 it ends, and then we will pick up in Deuteronomy chapter 4, which is gonna be a heavy chapter, a lot of stuff in there. But this, like, all of these things, they're just basically recounting what's happened thus far, because they're at the end of the journey, which is the 40th year, 11th month. They're about to go into the land. So this is just, another edition of the recounting of the history thus far. But you got any points, King?
Beautiful lesson. All praise to the Most High. I don't have anything to add to it.
Con, all praises to the Most High. Definitely appreciate your reading and also the point making as well. Appreciate all of y'all that participated and interacted within the chat. Definitely don't take it for granted. All praises to the Most High for you. I hope the lesson was easy to digest, easy to take in, not too complicated or anything like that. I hope it was helpful. And without anything further, man, I'll pass it to you in case you got anything before we close out.
All praise to the Most High. If anybody got anything they want to add in the comments, you can place it there. Any questions, any comments, you can add those as we close it out.
Con. And just in case anybody doesn't know, we're actually on Thursdays we do chapter breakdowns. Right now we're in the book of Romans, and the brother will be going into Romans chapter 6. So that's a powerful chapter. Or I mean, really from Romans 6 all the way to the end, it's just it's a lot of heat in there, and it's a lot of stuff that you're gonna want to witness and get to look at and actually go back and study, because these points are very relevant, just as far as your view of the Messiah, your view of the law, and things like that. So y'all definitely make sure, if you haven't already, you subscribed, you hit the notification bell so that you can get the alert for when we go live, so that you can actually get to watch these particular lessons go down.
All praise to the Most High.
Con. But yeah, if there'll be nothing else, I'll close it out. Close it out with number 6, 24 on down. Yahweh bless thee and keep thee. Yahweh make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. And with that, I'll say peace and shalom.
Shalom, King. Shalom, family.
get easily distracted. Your attempt is only as good as what you practice. If you a practitioner of sin, homie, you a bastard. It take obedience and faith to be a child of God. Confess with your mouth and not with works, that's what we call a fraud. Get on the narrow path, cause destruction is on the broad. Even then, watch for the hook, gotta keep up your guard. How you be quoting the Lord's prayer but don't submit to God? How you think you gon' get the kingdom if you don't play your part? How you gon' comprehend the light while living in the dark? How you gon' choose what's wrong or right if you don't study his law? If it ain't in Yah's will for me, it don't want it in mind. His laws and ways constantly be on my mind. Definitely ain't in. If it don't want it in mind, his laws and ways constantly be on my mind.